Hi, I'm Danny.
And I'm Si. Welcome to Business in a Brew, a podcast dedicated to all things business with the occasional cover.
We take a business story, theory, or something we just want to chat about and give it a dusting of our own special personality and sense of humour, combined with our experience and knowledge. We're both business graduates and have run our own businesses for many years. We can't wait for you to listen.
Morning. Hello.
Hello.
Are we live?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's what the fingers meant. Hi.
Okay, right. This one's hopefully going to be of interest to you and to everyone else listening. Have you ever been defrauded, Danny?
Yes, actually.
Have you?
Yeah. It was when I first started my business and someone kept, because I don't like to say no to people, they kept phoning me, telling me that I could pay some money to go into this magazine that was going to go everywhere. Anyway, they took some money, no magazine. Very embarrassing on reflection.
Oh, no.
I just didn't like saying no to people. $250?
Oh, you are a scammer's dream, aren't you?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Wow.
I'm also the one that buys everything in the impulse bit in the queue when you're waiting to pay the tills.
Okay. Right,
I'm
let's just hope there's no one listening that might then...
It's going to take advantage of me.
What a great idea. I've got a machine I'd like you to invest in. Yeah, I have.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Have you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a fake pig.
Beg your pardon?
Yeah. It was someone, it was actually bought as a present for me. Because I used to do, sounds so wrong, I used to do things with pigs.
What did you used to do with pigs?
Well, I used to make sausages and bacon. I kind of went to River Cottage and learned how to do that kind of thing.
Oh, you're putting off all vegetarians and all.
Yeah, sorry everyone. And was bought a pig that had been apparently hand reared and looked after the right way. And it came to the delivery day and it never turned up. And the guy that had basically come up with the idea had, well, let's just say, it appears that he had kind of got himself in too deep, sold so many of these pigs, but then couldn't back it up with actually having a pig. I think it was probably only one pig that he was trying to divide up between 20 people.
So to be clear, you weren't defrauded. Somebody else bought you the pig.
The person that bought me the pig, yeah. And
can't believe someone bought you a pig.
I know.
What a weird gift.
I want to know what happened to
you
this.
Buy the man
well,
who has
actually,
everything,
if
a
it
pig.
was a fake pig, nothing happened to it then. Never
well, that's
got
true,
it.
No.
So nothing,
it's absolutely fine skipping about in
died
imaginary
then,
pig
in
heaven. Yeah.
I'd love to know actually what happened to the bloke, because the bloke just kept coming up with excuse after excuse after excuse.
As for where the pig was.
As to where the pig was, yeah. So whatever it was invested in never materialised. And it perfectly leads into...
Don't buy pigs online, guys. It's dangerous out there.
Yeah, unless you see it. You've got to actually see it to believe it.
Oh.
I know.
Would you have named it?
No, because it would have arrived dead.
Ew.
It wouldn't have arrived live. It would have arrived a bit in bits. Yeah. Like
that's
a jigsaw
disgusting. Oh, don't be horrible.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, well, I was all about provenance, making sure that whatever you ate was, and still to a degree I do that, which is...
Maybe there wasn't one pig. Maybe he just didn't want to kill it. Maybe it got to it and he looked at its little piggy eyeballs and thought, no.
Eyeballs. Yeah. So, right.
Sorry. Yeah.
And have you ever had anyone that gave you a call one day and said, "Hey, Danny, I've found a great way of making money. Would you like to find out more?" Have you ever heard about that? Or you ever heard an approach like that?
Only through, I can't say it, MLMs. Yeah, a lot of those.
It's kind of run to the same script.
During the heyday of forever, yeah.
Yeah, because I've been approached 3 times, 3 different people. It was all around the 90s, which was basically people saying exactly the same thing. One was curtains. Someone who was doing basically a kind of a franchise MLM scheme involving haberdashery.
And they thought Simon's the man for this. Simon knows all about curtains.
Yeah. Another one was perfumes.
Yeah.
And another one was kind of cleaning materials. Each one of them started with, "Hey, I've got a great new way of making money." So by the second time I heard that, I kind of knew what was coming. But it was kind of like a brainwashing thing. So, yeah, multi-level marketing and MLM. Now, this stuff isn't fraud in most cases. Yeah. But multi-level marketing is basically about selling products. You as an agent, if you like, you're buying into the scheme, but you're buying products to then sell. And you sell that, you're buying a product and then you're selling it, and basically what you kind of keep the difference between the two, and then becomes your profit. So that
which is the same with any retail business.
With any kind of merchant behaviour, yeah. But for multi-level marketing to be compliant, and that is legal and not a pyramid scheme, which I'll come into, it's got to adhere to what's called the 70% rule, which is that at least 70% of all goods sold must be purchased by non-distributors. So if you're a distributor, you're buying the goods in, but the whole system does not function purely on you buying all the stuff.
So you can't buy it all yourself and say you've made X amount of sales?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Basically means you can't make your distributors be the reasons for your sale and profit.
Right.
Or sales and profit, yeah. So according to Forbes, so I'm just going to quote them directly. Research shows that most MLM participants earn little to no money, where 99% of MLM participants lose money, with only a small percentage of distributors making a profit.
And I assume that the profit is higher up the chain rather than further down the chain.
Yeah, it looks that way. So basically, those that you see driving around in Ferraris and living in mansions, they're all right. The 1%, maybe the ones that got in initially, but there's MLM and there's pyramid schemes, and then there's Ponzi schemes. Now, have you heard of Ponzi scheme?
I've heard of it. I couldn't define it.
Okay,
compared to MLM
I'm going to do a spot the difference here.
Oh, okay.
So multi-level marketing can be a legitimate business model, and significant brands like Avon, Amway, Neal's Yard Remedies, been going for decades. In fact, Avon's been going since 1886.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was an MLM back then, but it's been going for a long time. Neal's Yard since 81 and Amway since 1959. So they are very well-established brands. I think people trust them, it's fair to say. Got great reputations. Thing is, MLM schemes, whilst most are kosher, they can be used to disguise, I should say, pyramid schemes.
Okay.
Right. So the next question is,
what's a pyramid scheme? I don't speak like that.
No.
Sorry, what's a pyramid scheme?
A pyramid scheme, unlike legitimate MLM, prioritises the recruitment of new members, basic distributors, over the sale of products or services. So it's about acquisition of new members, and relies on fees paid by the new members to distribute profits rather than legitimate sales revenue.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So it's basically,
it's quite a subtle difference.
Yeah, that's right. It seems kind of that's why they're often confused.
Yeah.
People see MLM and they think pyramid.
Yes.
But a legitimate MLM is a legitimate business, but a pyramid scheme ain't. And the revenue is from the buy-in and not because of sales generated. Yeah. Okay. So similarly, Ponzi scheme is fraudulent investment scam, which is predicated on early investors getting in on the action, and they're paid using return. Basically, their return is on money coming in from newer investors after them. So the early participation, who then go, well, we're being promised 50% returns in 4 months, let's say, which is kind of what happened right at the very beginning. They're paid using money from newer investors rather than from profits generated by the scheme itself. So pyramid schemes and Ponzi schemes are similar methods. Two of them are seen often synonymously. Extracting money from members or investors. So basically, they're both illegal. So how Ponzi scheme works is that investors are attracted to the scheme with promises of high returns for minimum risk. Basically, get rich quick. Scheme operator uses the money from new investors to pay returns to existing investors, giving an illusion of a profitable investment to those early investors.
But you've got to keep recruiting and keep recruiting and keep recruiting.
Absolutely right. So building up the house of cards. So there's no actual business or profit involved. So there's no investment going on.
So it is literally a scam.
Yeah, it is. There's no investment. There's nothing tangible other than the investors and the payback from new investors. Profits are simply a transfer of money from one investor to another, passing down the line. Yeah, or up the line. I think it's called
so
up.
Like a bit like when you have a car crash, it's the person behind you that crashed into you, not the person at the beginning.
That's about right, yeah.
So you're literally stealing from the person below you.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Right.
So as the scheme grows, the need for new investors becomes increasingly large. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Yes.
And the number of new investors will ultimately dry up. It can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Before people start asking questions. As it gets outside of its intimate kind of nature, everyone gets to know about it and then it falls under scrutiny.
But one imagines someone who would set up a scheme like this in the first place is that greedy that they would push it and push it and push it rather than keep it manageable.
Yeah, right. So, exactly. Yeah. So you'll end up with investors who have basically nothing. But it is also, it's propelled forward by ultimately greed.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not, hey, great, I'm getting a modest return here. It's, I'm going to get half my money back in a few months.
Yeah.
You know, I can't fail at this. I'll just throw more and more money at it.
I feel like this is the place where it's too good to be true came from.
Yeah. So it's actually named after Charles Ponzi. He had other names. Can't remember what those other names are, but he had other names. And he used basically this process to sell what were pretty much investment coupons in about 1919. Smithsonian Magazine describes him as a dapper 5'2" rogue.
You'd love that title, wouldn't you?
If I were only 5'2".
You're nowhere near 5'2", yeah.
Now, it's from the outset, it seems like such a tenuous scheme that you can't, how the heck would someone
You've got to be quite,
what's
that word, charismatic.
Well, no, not that, but I'm just going to explain why it's tenuous. So it involved buying overseas postal coupons that can be redeemed in the country of receipt, basically, let's say Italy to America. It can be redeemed in the local currency for roughly 10% profit. Okay, so you get this postal coupon.
Like an exchange rate.
Pretty much, it is that.
Like a very favourable exchange rate.
So the rates for exchange of these coupons was fixed by an international treaty.
Was it? Yeah.
So a different country might have a higher rate not a higher rate, maybe a lower rate of exchange, and some had a much higher rate of exchange. So a poorer country, there would be a much higher rate of exchange.
So you'd buy from a poor country into a rich country and get a much better return on your investment.
So if you buy enough of these, then it all adds up. Now, to spot it, and the thing is, he spotted it because he was going to write a journal, and there was interest in this journal from overseas, and the journal included, when there was a document returned to him that had one of these coupons in it. And it was like, hey, I can exchange this and it's worth more than its face value over here. So basically he built an entire investment strategy and company called Security Exchange Company.
Okay.
Yeah. He recruited agents who recruited sub-agents, and investors bought into it. And because there was nothing that could be seen as an investment, he literally had to rob from Peter to pay Paul to give the investors the returns he promised.
That sounds like me when I started my business.
And the initial investors, the early adopters, if you like, would tell all their friends, guaranteeing its success.
Yeah, look how much I've made off of this.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing was kind of done, it was done on the QT. So people, got to find out about
Wink and a nudge.
Exactly. And the scheme depended on constant supply of new investors, just like explained before, who handed over the money for the money to pass to the investors up the chain. There were no regulations in place for this kind of scam because it hadn't
never
been
existed.
It had.
Oh, had it?
Yeah, but it hadn't been detected in terms of legislating it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. It wasn't exactly illegal to be buying the coupons and exchange and selling them, but to put an investment around it, it didn't exist. So that the whole house of cards basically fell in as investors got wise when excuses came for not paying out, because of course it became more and more difficult to pay out the bigger it got, because it relied upon that constant supply of new investors, in inverted commas. So basically he got caught out and locked up in 1920. Half a dozen banks crashed, just to give you an idea of the scale of it. According to Smithsonian Magazine again. And his name has now become forever associated with the fraud.
Yeah, you wouldn't want that surname, would you? That's an unfortunate
changing
surname.
it, yes. The thing is, not only was he a prolific fraudster, because of course this wasn't his first rodeo, and he was dapper, having spent the majority of his life in the clink. Basically, he wasn't the first to commit this kind of fraud. Earlier schemes were reported in the 19th century. Charles Dickens dramatised the methods in 2 novels. Do you remember The Life and Adventures of Martin Chuzzlewit?
No, I do not.
Or Little Dorrit?
I know Little Dorrit.
Yeah. Okay, well, I don't know exactly where within those the schemes existed, but there were people who lost money. Yeah.
Wasn't the 1920s the Great Depression as well in America?
Yes, it was. No, 1929.
So a little bit further on.
When the big crash came, yeah. But that was due to something else, yeah.
But still,
so
it kind of helped.
Yeah. So he got out of prison in 1934.
14 years for defrauding all those people?
Yeah. He was deported from the US after trying to sell...
We don't want him.
Yeah, after trying to sell swampland in Florida.
For what? What was he claiming you could use it for?
For coupons, probably. He ended up being chased by 2 states' legislative departments.
Where was he deported to? We didn't take him, did we?
Italy.
Italy?
Yeah, so he lived in exile in Italy. Yeah. So the cheeky little bugger also, excuse me, you can bleep that if you want, also wrote his autobiography, The Rise of Mr. Ponzi, the long-suppressed autobiography of a financial genius.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's arrogant.
That was published in 1935. So
was it?
Yeah.
What idiot published that?
What a little charmer. So quite an interesting story in itself, the history of it. But anyway, so the Ponzi scheme being distinct from other pyramid schemes, basically with a primary
and distinct from MLMs.
Yeah, exactly. But there are still Ponzi schemes around. People still fall for it.
There's still fraud around. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. According to Action Fraud, so that's the UK's National Reporting Centre for Fraud and Cybercrime. Yeah, in fact, they say you should report fraud to them if you've been scammed, defrauded, or experienced cybercrime in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. You can just find the Action Fraud website. So this isn't a plug for them, but it's quite useful because there'll be people who are listening to this who probably will have had a scam or have been defrauded in some way.
Yeah.
There's stuff going out, even on the news this morning. There was that thing about DVLA.
Oh, deep fake sites.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But anyway, so the Action Fraud, their statement is Ponzi schemes are get-rich-quick investment scams which pay returns to investors from their own money or from money paid in by subsequent investors. So you put your own money in, you get your own money back out.
Funny that, yeah.
There's no actual investment scheme as a fraudster.
That's literally a bank.
Off the money for themselves with no interest. So they go on to say early investors will usually receive the promised returns on their investment, so they start to spread the word to family and friends. Scheme gains credibility because the money is invested in any kind of investment vehicle. There are no profits. Instead, the first investors are simply paid out from the money paid in by new investors. The scheme operator eventually disappears with investors' money, so the system eventually collapses with later investors receiving nothing, including their initial investment. So you're all right if you get in on it quick and soon. You know,
do they all go to Italy?
Further down the line. Yeah. So it's just by word of kind of warnings. This is from Action Fraud. So you'll hear of these things because I've actually been approached by people since investments and things like property investments and things like that. The investment's marked as an exclusive opportunity with an increasing pool of similar investors. Advertising in the form of word of mouth with statements and endorsements from unknown sources, often stamps and marks of what are called trust.
Yeah.
Claims of little or no risk to the investor. Unregistered investments in a market where there's little or no regulation for the investment type. Investment advisors lack professional licenses. Investment duties and fundraising are intertwined. Unconventional or inconsistent account statements that are delayed and prone to errors. But the thing is, by which time? Yeah, but by which time it's too late, because if you're waiting for statements and you're waiting for,
I wouldn't know what a genuine mark looked like. I wouldn't know what qualifications. It's not like when the police turn up at your door and go, "Can I see your warrant card?"
Yeah, quite.
I don't know what I'm looking for.
So there's a whole pile.
I'm terrified I'm going to be Ponzi'd.
Yeah.
Is that a verb?
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh.
I think it is now. You just coined it.
Thanks.
But there's 20 red flags right there. Pressure to maximize investment funds by constantly paying in because you'll get a better return. So all of this stuff is kind of what you hear and what you feel when when someone is trying. You need to make the decision this weekend. You need to make the decision by
fear marketing tactics. Everyone
Absolutely
uses
right.
it.
Yeah. But the long and short of it is, if an investment seems too good to be true, then it probably is.
No, I think it definitely is.
That's pretty much. There's no such thing as guaranteed risk-free. Absolutely, high returns can only be achieved with high risk. That is a massive element to this. And Ponzi fraudsters use vague technical jargon to describe their non-existent investments, such as high yield investment program or global currency arbitrage, which the exchange of coupons, those postal coupons, was arbitrage. Arbitrage is, I guess it's French. The language is designed to dazzle you. Fraudsters try to pressurize you into making rush decisions using hard sell techniques and give you no time to consider the nature of investment. And you imagine that you're maybe a little bit older, a little bit kind of, you're wondering what to do with all the money you've got in the bank.
That won't be me. That will 100% not be me. Yeah. I'm safe from Ponzi schemes. It's fine.
This sounds great. Just what we need for the grandchildren. You can just imagine that. Keep your as with many fraudulent schemes, you're encouraged to keep your investments secret to ensure you receive maximum returns. So the people you tell, it's like
keep it secret to achieve. Well, it doesn't even make any sense.
It doesn't.
Money doesn't grow because you're not talking about it.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a load of links in this that will be in the notes. But anyway, just to kind of round it off, Ponzi is very much alive and well, even though he died in 1947, partially paralysed. But he's
that's sad. Tiny violin.
I know, but it's good to know that a name was given to it that is so easy to say
and spell.
Because otherwise it probably still would have been going around as something that was the scam with no name.
Yeah,
but at least now Ponzi has become synonymous with fraud and scam. But just a kind of a final note, really, if you've been affected by fraud, you can contact Action Fraud, and there's a number 0300 123 2040. I'll say that again, 0300 123 2040. It won't take you to a scam hotline.
You sound like the person at the end of EastEnders going, if you've been affected by this storyline.
Yeah, I think it's appropriate.
Well, that's very kind of you.
This might actually bring stuff up to people who are listening, thinking, oh, Christ, that was me. And
no, we're superheroes.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so that's the horrible little man who...
the horrible little man in Italy.
Yeah, who lived a life of fraud, really.
Well, he doesn't sound very nice. He can't come round to dinner.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for supporting us by downloading and listening to this episode.
And a massive thank you also to Donnie, Emily, Nat and Lewis and the BTD Studios for all your expertise in bringing our podcasting dream to reality.
We'd love it if you commented on this episode, as we'd really like to know what you think and what you might like us to cover in future episodes.
And we'll see you on the next one.